Everybody, let's start with the tone of this debate and the substance. Definitely more restraint this time around. It really did not seem to get out of hand the way the first presidential debate seemed to. Corey, I'm going to start with you on that.
Yeah, I think it was mildly better, although maybe shock collars would work better than mute buttons. I'm not sure. Wish there would be a third debate so we could find out. I mean, I honestly spent half of the debate, to be really frank with your viewers, baffled. I watched this and just thought two crazy old men needed to be separated in their wheelchairs and turn Wheel of Fortune on. I mean, it was pathetic, in my opinion. They discussed more policy than I thought they would get to, but I didn't think any of the answers were coherent. I thought it made actually a great argument for why we need a new generation of leadership in America.
Okay, so Avis, let me turn it over to you because I thought they started out quite well, and yes, it seemed to wander a little bit in the second half and the tail end. Are you with me or are you with Corey?
Well, I think I'm with me. Third option. I certainly don't believe that, once again, it's the false equivalency. There was one person on that stage who went off the deep end and was still kind of going back crazy every once in a while, calling people low IQ and all of this ridiculousness. And then there was another person who looked into the camera and let the American people know that he's not going to separate this nation into red states and blue states and govern as such. He's going to see all Americans as Americans and produce policies that are meant to bring up this entire nation. That is coherent. And he was very specific with various different ways in which he would do that. There was one person on the stage that actually answered the questions that was asked him, rather than deflect every question by merely seeking to accuse the other person of some wild conspiracy theory or another. And so to me, this was a very different tone and tenor to this debate. But clearly there was only one person who actually came to this debate to actually debate, and that was Joe Biden. And as a result, he's the clear winner.
All right, Mary Kate, is there a winner for you as well tonight? If so, why?
I'm going to give President Trump a B+, and I'm going to give Joe Biden probably about a C or a C-. I didn't think it was a slam dunk by either one of them. I was pleasantly surprised how much policy was covered, just like Corey was pleasantly surprised by that. But I definitely got this feeling that about halfway through the debate, Vice President Biden started losing steam, started saying stuff that didn't make sense. He started sort of slurring his words. He definitely said a lot of stuff. I started making a list of things, when he said we had a good relationship with Hitler before World War II. I was like, what? There was another one where he wanted zero emissions by 2025. I was like, what? Just one thing after another. And I would respectfully disagree with Avis. I think that Vice President Biden deflected quite a few answers. When he was asked about Hunter, he deflected to President Trump's tax returns. And there was plenty of deflecting on both sides. I think there was a lot of dancing around questions by both of them.
Okay, so Michael, I want to get your overall impression, but I also want you to tell me if you saw a blender that stood out for you from either one of the candidates.
So Mary Kate and I were watching a different debate because I didn't see it that way at all. If anything, I would reverse the grades that she gave, and as a professor, giving grades is sort of my thing. But I will tell you the overall event was much better for me this time than it was last time. And there are a couple of things that stood out for me. First is, when you're running as the challenger, as President Trump did in 2016, it's real easy to run because you don't have a record to defend. This time around, he does, and he really struggles to do that in some very important ways. And that brings me to the second one. This is really a case for having more diversity in terms of the moderators. The question on the talk toward the end of the debate, the second half of the debate, the part of the debate that Mary Kate said Joe Biden was losing steam is actually one of the best answers I heard from either candidate all night. I just think it gave President Trump an opportunity to show some empathy toward Black and brown families around the country. And rather than take that opportunity, he punted it away, and partly because he just doesn't get it. And so I thought that was really good. And then also on climate change, quickly, There is no question that there is something called environmental racism and environmental justice in the United States. It is a movement that's been in motion for more than 35 years, and it is sickening Black and brown people all around the country. President Trump doesn't seem to know anything about that. And that's one thing if you're the candidate. It's another thing altogether if you're the president.